Recently, one comment I've been receiving from a lot of you guys on YouTube has been, why am I so sensitive to criticism, or why do I take things that people say to heart so much on the internet? And today I want to take some time to respond to that, because I think that question is a little bit misguided and not entirely understanding why I've been becoming frustrated with YouTube lately. I don't really take things that random people say to heart on the internet. For instance, if there's some guy that just randomly comes into a video and tells me to kill myself, that's something that it's really easy to brush off. It's just a random guy, I don't know him, I don't care about him, fuck him too, right? It's like some random guy tells you to kill yourself on the internet. That's just what the internet has become nowadays, sadly. It's something that it takes a little bit of time to get used to. If, you know, when you're first coming on the internet, when you're first interacting with people in that way and someone says something super hurtful and hateful to you, then it's like, whoa, I've never had to experience this before. This is kind of weird. It makes me feel sad. But I've been on the internet playing online games for like 12 years, over a decade at this point. I've gotten used to that sort of thing, and it doesn't really affect me nearly as much as it would if I was a little kid just experiencing games for the first time. The thing that's become frustrating for me lately and has sort of sowed a seed of doubt into my mind has been the fact that I've had a massive disconnect with my audience, where you guys can't seem to understand why I say and do certain things in YouTube videos. The biggest example of this would probably be coaching. Now, I have a certain belief that the majority of people hold a sense. The majority of people have common sense, I believe. Maybe you guys would laugh at that and say most people are idiots, but I think that most people hold reasonable views on certain things. So an example of that would be like if Riot were to come out tomorrow and say that they were nerfing Fizz and they were removing certain items of his or certain abilities and they were reworking him. A lot of people would be super upset about that. A lot of people would say a lot of hateful things. They would complain, they would yell, they would kick and scream. A lot of Fizz mains would be upset. A lot of people that like playing him as he is now would be upset, and they would complain about how his new kit is not nearly as fun as his old kit. But I think that most people, if that was the right decision, they'd be able to say, hey, this is probably what's best. At the end of the day, Fizz is a problem. He's not really been balanced. He's either been overpowered or underpowered almost his entire time in League of Legends. Maybe we do need a rework. Let's see what happens. I think that's a reasonable view that most people would probably have, where even if there is some, debate about whether it's a good idea or not, it would still have a majority of people being able to come together and say, okay, yeah, it might be for the best, let's see what happens. Lately, it feels like that has not been my audience lately, where it feels like my audience can't seem to understand why I would say and do the things that I say and do in YouTube videos, and the coaching is the biggest example of that. I don't want to get coaching until I see if I can get to master tier myself. I want to see if I can put in the practice, put in the time and effort like I did back in Season 1, Season 2. I want to see if I can get good at League of Legends on my own, and I think that would be awesome if I could. That would be awesome because it would give me a great sense of satisfaction if I could do it all on my own. And it would also be awesome because I think that if it's between getting coaching and figuring things out on your own, it's probably, if there's a better option out there, figuring things out on your own would probably be the better option, right? I'm sure that would help you grow and understand the game as a player much better than having other people show things to you. If it's between the two, figuring things out yourself or having other people tell you, I feel like figuring things out yourself, that just makes, that must be the better of the two options. And even so, there's a bunch of other reasons that I have for wanting to see if I can get good on my own, but I feel like that's not an unreasonable stance, wanting to see if I can do something on my own before I go and cry for help, and use other resources to improve. But the majority of my audience does not hold that view. The majority of my audience can't understand that view. Ever since I said I wanted to not get coaching, people are like, no, fuck you, you're dumb. No, you're an idiot, you need it. No, you suck at League of Legends, you can't get it, you gotta get coaching. No, we don't want you to not try and get it on your own. You have to get coaching. Like, those were the comments that I was seeing as soon as I said that. And I was like, okay, you know, let's go improve these guys wrong. I started trying to put in some time and effort. We were stuck at the bottom half of Diamond 5, Diamond 5-0 LP, and then we started improving. We made it to the top half of Diamond 5. We made it to Diamond 4. We made it up to Diamond 3, a rating we never got to. We were 2 games away from our promos to Diamond 2. Lately, we have fallen back down to Diamond 4 and even the top half of Diamond 5 because I refused to play Aurelia recently, which I'll be talking about in a video, but you know, there has been some improvement, but there's we were halfway there. Diamond 3 is halfway to Master Tier from where we started, but no change in my audience's reception. No, doesn't matter. You're just getting lucky. You gotta get coaching. You suck. You gotta get coaching. You gotta get coaching. Fuck you. Get coaching. Get coaching. That's all I've heard from my audience, and I feel like it's not I can't believe, I actually can't believe that nobody understands why I would want to try and do things on my own. No, I shouldn't say nobody, because I'm sure there's going to be people that comment on this video and say that, no, G-Bay, we understand you. But the fact that it's not the majority anymore, the fact that it's a very small minority that can even understand why I say and do these things in YouTube videos, why I would want to try and get coaching on my own, the fact that people can't even understand is just so frustrating. I mean, that's the thing that's been bugging me lately and has been making YouTube videos difficult. Like, this is something I've started noticing in other elements of me making YouTube videos. Like, for instance, there's been more examples of this. Like, in my latest video, the Fizz video, I make a comparison to Fizz and Renekton for damage. I compare the damage that Fizz deals to Renekton. Why did I choose Renekton to compare Fizz damage to? Because Renekton is the best champion at that point in the game. Level 6 is when we compare the damage. I assume you guys have seen the video. Renekton is the best tanky bruiser that also deals damage, the same archetype that Fizz has fallen into. He is the best example of someone that deals a lot of damage. So I feel like if showing the damage comparison between Fizz and Renekton, and we show that Fizz deals slightly more damage, then you can just assume that he's going to deal a ton more damage than Gragas, a ton more damage than Shen, a ton more damage than Nasus, and all the other much weaker top laners. But there was a big criticism of that video of people saying I shouldn't have compared the two because Renekton doesn't use mana and Fizz does use mana. I feel like that would just make Renekton an even better example because he gets to spam his abilities no matter what, right? And other champions, they wouldn't get to spam their abilities no matter what. But at the end of the day, I guess that's a fair criticism, right? I guess that is a pretty fair criticism that I didn't really take into account. I gave Renekton Fury to try and make sure that I was showing his best possible damage that he would be doing in a combo. But the fact that people couldn't even understand, again, it's fair if you criticize that I made that comparison, and maybe it is a fair criticism that I shouldn't have made that comparison. But the fact that people can't understand why I would make it is the thing that's really bugging me. It feels like a lot of the things I make in YouTube videos, a lot of the choices that I make in comparing damage, or, you know, laying out item builds, or analyzing whatever element of the game, the fact that people can't understand why I would say and do certain things with those choices that I make, and the fact that people can't even understand why I would make that comparison, or why I wouldn't want coaching. It's understandable if you disagree with it, but the fact that you can't make an effort to understand why I would choose Renekton, or why I would choose to not get coaching, I don't know. It's been frustrating, man. It's been really frustrating lately to see that, and trying to improve on the next video so I don't see those same comments and that there's always more comments. I don't know. It's frustrating, but I guess I'll just keep on trying to make an effort to deal with it and figure things out on my own. Anyway, I guess this was just a little bit of a rant. Thanks for listening to it. I'll be back with another YouTube video on this channel in a couple of days, but until then, thanks for watching. Good luck in solo queue. Have a wonderful day.